Imagine a case that's been silent for 30 years. No new witnesses, no confessions, no clean DNA match. Then one day, someone uploads their DNA to find a great-grandparent. And that tiny, innocent family tree hobby lights up a path straight back to a crime scene. Not because the internet solved it, not because detectives got lucky, because cold cases don't crack like a safe. They crack like ice, layer by layer. Tonight, I'm not doing gore, I'm not doing rumours, I'm doing the anatomy of a breakthrough. The exact steps that turn unsolved into we can prove it. And the part most people miss, even when DNA is involved, it's rarely the first domino. It's usually domino number 7. We've been trained by crime shows to believe two things at once. Cold cases never get solved, DNA is basically wizardry with a lab coat. Both are wrong. Cold cases get solved, and DNA is only powerful when it's treated like a clue, not a verdict. A case goes cold for boring reasons that ruin dramatic television. Not enough witnesses, a timeline with holes, evidence collected before modern standards, tips that arrive too late or too loud. And here's the cruel twist. The same problem that freezes a case often preserves it. Because if evidence is stored properly, it can wait. People forget, but fibres don't. Paperwork doesn't get emotional. A sealed evidence bag doesn't care about time. So the first breakthrough isn't a miracle. It's preservation. Layer 2. Retesting old evidence with new science. Most breakthroughs start with a simple sentence. Let's test it again. Not because the original investigators were careless, because the technology wasn't there yet. Tiny samples, trace contact, mixed profiles, degraded material. A modern lab can sometimes pull meaning out of what used to be labelled not suitable. And if you're thinking, so the lab solves it? No. A lab produces results. Humans solve cases. Layer 3, databases. The quick win that often doesn't happen. If you get a clean profile, the next hope is a database hit. That's the Hollywood moment everyone expects. Computer beeps, match appears, credits roll. In reality, many series cases don't match anyone, because the right person was never in the system. Or the evidence is partial, or it's a mix. So investigators move to the next layer. Layer 4, investigative genetic genealogy, the misunderstood one. This is the bit people talk about like it's a cheat code. It's not a cheat code. It's a map with most of the street names missing. Here's the clean version. Instead of looking for an exact match, you look for relatives. Not this is the person. More like, whoever left this DNA is probably a second cousin of that person. Then specialists build family trees, branch by branch, generation by generation, until a short list appears. And only then do police do what police have always done. Check alibis, check opportunity, check geography, check history. And look for confirmed evidence that stands up in court. Because genealogy is a lead generator, not a conviction engine. Quick reality check. Even this method depends on consent and policy. Some databases allow certain law enforcement searches, some don't. Rules vary, and if that sounds messy, good. It should be. This is where the public gets tripped up. We want science to be clean. We want it to be final. But real forensics is more like doing a jigsaw puzzle in fog while someone keeps stealing pieces. And the CSI effect does real damage. Jurors expect perfect DNA in every case. Families expect instant answers. And online people treat a single forensic detail like a personality test. Fibre? Guilty. Partial print? Guilty. Sketch looks similar? Guilty. No, evidence doesn't work like gossip. Now we get to the quiet powerhouse. Digital trails. Phones, old devices, cloud backups, vehicle data, app logs, photos with hidden metadata. Even when someone thinks they left no trace, modern life is basically a receipt printer with anxiety. And here's the irony. A case from the 90s can become solvable in 2020s because the suspect upgraded their lifestyle. New devices, new accounts, new patterns. Sometimes the past gets cracked by the present. Layer 6, rebuilding the timeline, where breakthroughs become provable. This is the part I care about most, because it's victim-centered. A breakthrough isn't just we found a name. A breakthrough is we can account for movements, we can confirm contact, we can verify the last known moment that's real. The timeline is the spine. Everything hangs off it. And when a case finally breaks, it's often because the timeline gets rebuilt with new witnesses who feel safe now, old witnesses who remember one detail differently. A photo, a receipt, a call log, a CCTV frame, small things. But stacked together, they stop being small. Layer 7, the final step nobody glamorizes, confirmation. This is a step that keeps it honest. When investigators land on a person of interest, they don't just declare victory. They look for independent confirmation. Does the timeline fit? Does the geography fit? Does the opportunity fit? Do the known facts match without forcing them? Because it's easy to solve a case in your head. It's hard to prove it in the real world. And that's the difference between entertainment and justice. So here's the verdict. Cold cases don't get solved by a single genius, or a single technology, or a single piece of evidence that changes everything. They get solved when multiple layers finally overlap. Science, database, paperwork, timelines, human memory, and careful, boring verification. And yes, sometimes one new method is the spark. But the fire only catches because everything underneath was prepared. So why do people still believe cold cases are hopeless or that DNA is magic? Because layer by layer police work doesn't sell as well as one dramatic reveal. It doesn't come with theme music, no glowing computer, no single moment where the detective whispers, "Got you." Real life rarely gives you that line. It gives you a folder that gets heavier every year until one day it's heavy enough to land. If you're watching this because you've got a case in mind or a loved one you think about, I'm genuinely sorry you have to carry that. This channel doesn't treat victims like plot devices, and it doesn't treat suspects like content. We follow evidence, publicly documented facts, and responsible uncertainty. If you want, tell me in the comments which layer you want a full episode on. Investigative genetic genealogy, timeline reconstruction, or psychology of false confessions. And if you'd like me to cover a specific case in this format, name it. I'll stick to verified records and I'll keep it respectful.